This is the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show. Your war room for insider news and draft analysis from deep within the confines of Cowboys headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
The Dallas Cowboys select Tyler Smith.
And now, your host, Kyle Yeomans.
Today is Tuesday, April 25th, 2023. We are officially not just on a Tuesday, but we're 2 days away from the NFL draft in Kansas City. Welcome into the Draft Show presented by Miller Lite. We are happy to be with you every day for the rest of the week. How about that? Daily draft shows starting today, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, including our wall-to-wall coverage starting on DallasCowboys.com, 105.3 The Fan, and the Odyssey app coming up starting on Thursday. We've got Brian Broaddus, Zach Wolchuk, Aisha Morrison, Chris Beam in the back doing a great job wearing a camo Whataburger shirt at the moment.
Looking fresh to death.
Yeah,
It's a Whataburger shirt?
It was a Whataburger shirt,
yeah.
Okay.
You can get it at Academy.
Nah, I won't question it now.
Yeah.
I
Oh, you were questioning it?
No, I just.
Whoa,
I-
she was a question.
I thought he looked stunning.
No, I do. I was like, dang, I didn't realize like the colors. I was like, dang, it's a lot of colors, but the what that justifies.
It makes
it.
sense,
It
right?
No, they looked
justifies
really
it.
cool.
Are you getting in
For the
combative mode now? Are you getting ready this week?
What you talking about?
Combative mode?
I'm not gonna be argumentative
Questioning?
at all.
Yes,
Oh,
you
you
are.
better.
I like your glasses,
want
Kyle.
it to be. Thank you. These are the same glasses.
Are they
I've
the same
worn.
ones you always wear? Do you all wear
You also
contacts?
accused me last week of of shaving for the show and being clean shaven. This is the week I'm not clean shaven.
I see it.
I will shave probably tomorrow or Thursday.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's
Yeah.
maybe now you look more like a TA or something.
I like the scruff, Kyle. We got the Stanley Cup playoffs going on. Get the playoff
That's what
beard
it is.
rocking.
It's the playoff beard.
Get
It's
the draft beard. Yeah, that's my guy.
That's a good way to put it. 2 days from the NFL draft. Of course, we talked about lying season last week. Here's where you try and sift through the lies, Brian, because you got to find out what's happening in front of you to really give you a clear picture of what's going to happen in 26.
Yeah, we had the opportunity to listen to Jerry and Steven and Coach McCarthy speak about it. The things that I kind of pulled from that is, you're absolutely right. Jerry's in a situation where, he kind of made a little bit of a joke. Hey, trade up, trade back, sit where you're at, kind of a thing. But that's really where he's at right now. And you're going to field some calls. You're going to get teams that are going to call you and say, listen, if our guy's not there, we'll be interested in coming back to you if you want to go up. You kind of get an idea of the teams. Teams that you have a history of working with. Makes it a lot easier. Maybe Steven has a relationship. We've seen him make a couple of trades with general managers that he has a good relationship with. You just kind of star those guys if you have to get to a spot or you have to go back. The thing that was really interesting yesterday, and Bobby and I talked about this on our Love of the Star podcast, and I'm sure we could talk about it here today. Jerry mentioned the word warts. Warts. And you start to think about warts, you think of something that doesn't look very pretty. It's something that's a blemish. And I think when you start to talk about warts in this draft, if he's, that maybe somebody slides to him, it might be players with warts. It might be a guy and I don't think it's just character problem stuff. Maybe it's a guy that has Peter Skoronski, and I'm just mentioning him because he has shorter arms. What about Zay Flowers? He's a smaller receiver, shorter receiver. So what I take from all this is warts could mean just how they, physical traits that could make a player slide to them or have an opportunity to go up. So I think you have to be very mindful of that. Maybe if there's a player that they feel like is sliding to them that has better value than others believe. Now, because of those warts, the player is to you, and then you have the opportunity to make that pick. So, sometimes these pre-draft press conferences, you don't get a lot of stuff, but that was one thing that I kind of picked up. We need to identify those players that might have warts that could get to them at 26.
Well, let's take a look at them. Do you have any, Zach, that kind of stick out in terms of those top edge top overall
I know you
prospects?
asked Zach, but
Yeah.
Aisha's one of the first players that Aisha ever talked about was Emmanuel Forbes on this show. And she very astutely talked about, hey, kind of feel like this is what he can do, A, B, C, and D. But Emmanuel Forbes, now do you have to trade up? Well, maybe not.
Yeah.
But could he be a guy that you could select because he has some warts? He's 166 pounds. I don't think he's going to physically get any bigger. And there's very few these. I think there's 2 players that have been drafted at that weight at cornerback. And so there's a wart right there. And so I think that would be one of them that I would mention. And I mentioned Skoronski with the short arms. Does he get out of the top 10? I doubt it, but he's got a trait that a lot of teams are saying he can't play tackle. He's got to play guard.
Yeah.
Dalton Kincaid maybe with the back injury.
With the back, the injury
Some people
certainly
might get
would
scared with that.
Absolutely, that would factor into it. I think Zay Flowers, who they've had in a visit, who's a shorter stature wide receiver. You could throw in, a Kalijah Cansey if that's a player that they like.
There you go.
Another shorter, undersized defensive tackle. These are kind of the players that I was looking at. I think Forbes, though, we talked about it before we jumped on. Aisha and I see eye to eye on him. I got Forbes as my 16th best player on my board. I've got him incredibly high. If he was there at 26, I think he's exceptional value. And to the point that Aisha made early on in the draft show, I felt the exact same way when you watch him. He just looks like a Dan Quinn, Seattle type of corner. The size, the ability to break on the ball, the length, the scrappiness in which he plays with. But you're right. Can he put on weight?
Yeah.
He might not have the frame to do that. And you've talked to us, Brian, about some players in your day of drafting where, there was one guy in particular, I think it was in Green Bay, that he had a problem. He couldn't put on weight.
Well, that's Shante Carver. The Cowboys picked him.
That's right.
Shante Carver, because he had the teeth, the problem, the gums. The thing, how about, okay, can I throw another guy at you real quick? Can I throw Jordan Addison at you?
Sure. Okay.
And can I throw Jordan Addison at you because he's 173 pounds? That's when you start to talk about 5'11", 173, would you ever have a shot at drafting Jordan Addison? I think some teams are probably saying a little bit of a shorter guy, but a guy that's 173 pounds. Maybe you worry about that a little bit. Is that one of those warts that we're talking about? On the opposite end of that, Quentin Johnston is the big guy at the top of that board. But, there's going to be some guys, like I say, the Jordan Addisons at 173 pounds. That's something that you don't normally see for a guy that you would take as a first-round wide receiver.
Yeah, and we're talking about warts. I know a lot of people don't think he's going to fall out the top 10, but Jalen Carter could be looked at as a guy for sure that has warts, has concerns, has things that you have to go check into and be sure about before you're bringing that gentleman into your locker room, especially if your locker room is well put together at this point.
Well, I'm sorry. I just jumped you. Go ahead.
No, you're all right. Go ahead.
No, the thing about, I was just thinking because of wide receivers. I'm sorry. Please finish your thought. Please finish. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool.
Bringing him in the locker room, you were saying. Yeah.
I was done. I was done. He was just one of my wart guys that I would be on the fence about. You'd have to check into before you brought him into the locker room.
Yeah, I mentioned that. If I was running one of these drafts, and I was top 10, I would have
FBI.
I'd have my FBI
Not
guy.
FBI.
I'd have Butch.
Get them all down there.
I'd have Butchie in Philadelphia down there talking to him. How about this? How about Jackson Smith and Jigba and the medical concerns?
Sure.
With him, is he
and the 10-yard split scaring some teams right now too.
He's one of the best receivers in the draft, but are we looking at a guy now that? Well, there's honestly some medical concerns here. You mentioned it with the back. You mentioned it. With when you started talking about the tight end. From Utah, but that's what I'm saying. These guys, there's some physical traits that might not lend these teams to want to pick them as high as maybe some of these media scouts have put some of these players.
And it's interesting that you just mentioned all three of the wide receivers, the top wide receivers that are in this draft. All three of them. And what have we heard these last couple of weeks around the media and the scouts and just how the front offices and the media view this wide receiver class very differently? That's a good example of it. Is if you're looking at the unknown information, we do not get the medicals. We can kind of see what trickles out in terms of medicals, but we don't have the full report. And that's kind of the disadvantage that the media is at. So some of these warts aren't going to show up until we see somebody dropping on draft day, until we see one of these players outside of the top 10 or the top 15 that were expected to go there prior. Is there anybody that's on the other flip of that, though, Brian, that maybe is listed below the Cowboys pick at 26? But at some point, it's the traits and the production is too much to pass up on?
Banks from Maryland.
Okay.
Banks from Maryland, I think, is one of those guys. I think Brian Branch, also from Alabama, might be a guy that the safety from Alabama might be a consideration there.
I would love that.
I'll tell you another one I'll give you. I'll give you B.J. Ojolari from LSU. I think that's another one that we're starting to hear a lot of buzz. Philadelphia at 10, potentially taking Nolan Smith, the edge from Georgia. I remember when we first started this journey all together here, Nolan Smith was a guy, when the first mock drafts started coming out, Nolan Smith, or I was looking at mock drafts, people sending me their mock drafts, Nolan Smith was the predominant player at 58.
Yep.
And then he went to the combine and did what he did. And I haven't seen Nolan Smith's name at 58 since the combine. But I think there's some people that are. I'll tell you what. You keep talking about Dalton Kincaid. Dalton Kincaid could go before Michael Mayer. I mean, that could very well happen. I don't know if the people at the Cowboys would particularly like that.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like that they would like Mayer to go. I just it's kind of vibey right now for me on this one. That
like if he's there, we got to take him. But do we really want to take him?
Brian used the term vibey.
He used it vibey.
Well, very, very vibey. But to me, maybe the situation with the love of Kincaid, and this is what I did. I put my rankings next to Dane Brugler's rankings to put him next to Daniel Jeremiah. I have a lot of respect for Daniel Jeremiah, Bucky Brooks. These are guys like me that have lived this. We're all in the media world now, but you kind of Daniel Jeremiah's got Dalton Kincaid in his top 150. He's kind of at number 9.
He's at 17 for me.
Yeah.
He's at 15 for me.
See, that's 22 for me. So to me, that's a pretty significant. I mean, I know we're talking still kind of first round numbers and stuff. And there's some people out there that think there's only 9 to 10 first round grades for a lot of these teams. That maybe now is there any reason to move up if there's only 9 or 10 names if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan?
No.
Is there any reason because if Jerry and Steven were trying to talk about yesterday, 15, what they have last year? 14, 15 names last year? 16 names. Okay, if they have 14. And if teams are talking about only 9 first round grades,
Stay put.
See what you can get.
How low is that?
That's got to
be one of the lowest.
I have 20, but I'm one of these guys that I see value in players like running backs, the Bijan Robinson, the Gibbs. I see value in that. I see value in I see some value of having a guy like and I know me personally. Darnell Wright, the offensive tackle from Tennessee, a lot of people, he's a second-round guy. I had him at 19 on my board.
Got him at 18.
If you look at Darnell Wright as compared to Dane Brugler, he's 24. You go to Daniel Jeremiah, he's 18.
Yeah, see, I have 24 on him.
Yeah, so see, there you go.
So you don't have a first-round grade on him?
He's literally the first number 2 grade. Okay. I have 23 first-round grades, so I went a little bit heavy.
Nolan Smith's that for me at 21.
Yeah.
My first second-round player.
Darnell Wright is that. Yeah, for me.
So that if you only have 9 grade, that's really, really low. And it might have to do with these wide receivers. You traditionally see teams put, maybe 2, 3 wide receivers in the first round, and maybe they're not looking at these receivers like the media scouts are. Maybe that one of those receivers with warts that we're talking about gets to Dallas at 26.
Well, and we're talking about Darnell Wright as a back half of the first-round player, too. All of us in those grades outside of maybe Dane Brugler. But there's buzz right now that he could go top 15. I mean, he's another guy that, because of that flex, because of his strength in the SEC and his production and tape, he could go as high as 15 or 16 if he really wanted to. So that's another guy that's kind of on the
guy that's getting a lot of drive. And I think, again, this is another guy that Aisha brought up from Illinois was Witherspoon.
Sure, Witherspoon.
Yeah. I mean, when we started talking about the cornerbacks and stuff, I remember Aisha bringing his name up, like, I watched this kid Witherspoon, and I think I was a little bit behind on that myself. But again, you look at him. Daniel Jeremiah, top 5 on his 150. Dane Brugler at 9. Myself, 13. So
I'm at 13.
I mean, he's going to be one of these guys that could very well go up in the top.
He could be the first corner taken.
He very well
maybe
could
the
be.
Lions could snag him.
Yeah. He definitely could be the very first corner taken. But Christian Gonzalez is someone that I feel like is, depending on the team, is high for some people. I think, if I'm not mistaken, some of the Falcons folks really are very high on him. And, they have picks early in this draft. So he's a guy to keep looking at, too, from Oregon.
From Oregon, right? Yeah, there you go. Me 11, Dane at 5, Daniel Jeremiah at 10. So we're all
10,
we're all kind of. I mean,
got him very high. I've got him at 6.
See that, but that's not a problem. As long as you do the work, as long as you're doing
I got Joey Porter Jr. at 7, so I'm with you.
Joey Porter's 11 for me, so yeah.
You think he's sliding?
It looks like it.
Who? Joey Porter?
But I think that's because I think a lot of it is because there's a lot of good corners early, like that can go early in this draft. And with him, I know at the combine he was a favorite, and I think he was a favorite just because of the lineage and all that stuff. But I don't know, when you look at Witherspoon and you look at Joey Porter Jr., like who are you picking there?
I'm taking Porter myself.
I'm taking Porter as well.
Me personally. But that depends. But it depends on what you.
It's a flavor of ice cream.
I feel like different teams have different systems, the way they run things, the way they want to do things. And I mean, if you want a guy that's closer to the line of scrimmage and can do, I think Devin Witherspoon is fine in coverage, but close to the line of scrimmage, he's a dog. He's disrespectful. He wants to tackle, be physical, make his presence known. Yeah. Joey Porter Jr. I think has more flexibility.
I don't know how much we've talked about this, but this brings up a really good point because there are position groups in this class that are deep. You got corner, you've got tight end, running back. All three of those positions are in play at 26 for the Cowboys. Does it deter you at all knowing at 26 you might pick up a guy that is an impact player, but you could also pick up the same position, same impact player later on? Does that deter
encourages me? That encourages me because then I never feel like I got wiped out.
Sure.
I mean, that's the encouraging thing. I look at it. I'm thinking, all right, I missed out on my tight end, but I can grab one. I could grab one in the 3rd, or I could grab one at 58 that would be comparable to what I'm trying to do. I'm not saying it's like that. I'm not. There is a difference. There is a difference, and I'll say this: there's a difference between Bijan Robinson and Gibbs. There's a difference. Yeah. But if you're one of those guys that you miss out, you need a back, and say you do miss out on Bijan Robinson, you're thinking, damn, I feel good about Gibbs. So I think that's why people are talking about Gibbs. And Todd Archer and I were having this discussion, and I thought it was pretty funny. Archer goes, Peter King and these guys are talking to people about Gibbs being over Robinson and stuff like that. He goes, that's a damn lie. I don't know how you can watch film. And I'm like, well, maybe because of the way he catches the ball, and maybe the way he blocks and stuff. But like I said, I think there's certain positions on this board that you could feel really comfortable about if you miss your guy. Because we always say, I don't know if you could circle back. Henley, the linebacker from Washington State.
Great point.
I don't know if I could circle back in the 3rd round and get him.
Nope.
I don't.
I don't believe he's going to.
So, maybe that's one of those spots, and maybe it's to Aisha's point about the linebackers too, that maybe that class is not as deep. But if you want a guy like Henley from Washington State, you might have to go early.
Just reach.
You got to go. Yeah. I agree.
I wouldn't call it a reach. I think they're really good.
I like them, but you're taking them higher than you probably have them on your board.
Yeah.
But I get it because you're not going to make it on the comeback around. I feel that way about guard at 26.
Yeah.
If they don't take the guard in the 1st round, I don't know that you're going to get a Torrance or an Avila or a Malk end up making it to 58.
Yeah, but see, the thing about it is, we bring up Zavala. We bring up Zavala, and we're like, how much do you think they really like Zavala? Do they like Zavala in the 3rd round? Do they like Zavala in the 4th round?
Yeah.
That's the question you have to ask. And then Mafi, our kid from UCLA.
Right.
So there's another one. To me, I think media scouts are missing out on him. I think the media scouts
I think Mafi's really good.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I've heard.
Would you take him in the 4th round?
I would take him in the 5th round. I wouldn't take him in the 4th. I would take Anthony Bradford before I took Mafi.
Okay, I have Anthony Bradford like in the 3rd.
Yeah, I have him.
But but to your point, when we started this journey, there was only a couple of guards we were really talking about, right?
Sure.
We were talking about Avila, and we were talking about
Torrance.
Yep. Yeah, and those were the two. And then all of a sudden, the more we worked, the more we thought, wow, there's some other one of these 332-pound guards that can play. But see, I wonder, Zavala, I wonder if they think guard only there.
Not the yeah.
I mean, because these other ones that we're kind of talking about could maybe play other positions.
Flex, Darnell Wright.
Right.
Yeah.
I do have a question. We haven't mentioned him much at all here, but Tyler Steen from Alabama.
Yeah. Good player.
Let's talk about him because I wanted to bring him up specifically. What do you think about him?
Nah, go on, Kyle. You want to bring him up?
I want you to say the scouting report.
Yeah, no. So I was looking at him. So he looks the part.
Yeah.
Like he looks like a guy that you want playing that position. I said he gets out of his stance quickly. He has a good sense of when to drop his anchor, when to drop that.
Yeah, when to drop that ass.
And once he does, he typically wins. I like his hand placement. A lot of what Jahmyr Gibbs did was behind him, was coming off of that left side and stuff. I feel like but I feel like sometimes he plays forward, like on his toes.
You got him.
And that can, I mean, you'll see him. I don't like seeing offensive linemen on the floor. I don't like seeing them on the ground. What you on the ground for?
Yeah.
So unless you pancaking somebody, but there's times where he's leaning forward, I would describe it, and he loses his footing. But for the most part, I mean, he showed his tail at the Senior Bowl, going up as some of the better DNs. Stood up Will McDonald, which is not easy to do.
No.
He's a Vanderbilt transfer. I think Alabama was good to him for his development. It looks like he got better at the position by transferring to Alabama.
Let me ask you this. He has 32-inch arms, which is short for the position. Is it possible that his lean forward and his footwork is a direct comparison or a direct correlation, rather, to where his short arms are and how he's having to overcompensate?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I think he does struggle with DNs that have more length, that have the longer arms. He's trying to engage with them, but his timing is off. So I feel like his mix of power and technique are good. Like I feel like he has. I know that's something that Brian is very particular about guys having power, but also too, like, I want him to have some technique. I want his hands to be okay. And I like how he gets inside the guys' pads. I really do. So he's a guy that I just started paying attention to a little bit more. And I feel like even though he's listed as a tackle, if you wanted to maybe take him in the third, I would be totally okay with it.
That's where I had him as a third-round grade.
Yeah, I had him high fourth.
Okay.
Yep.
So,
What do you
about
think
the
about
same. I liked him for the most part. I did worry because, Brian, you talk about this. He catches. With his blocking.
Yeah, that's.
I did think that he catches a little bit, but I love he gets mean in the run game. Okay. He gets knocked back. I think he can bend and adjust to blitz pickups and stunts. He wasn't great when he has to get out in space. Yeah. But, that might be something that you don't always have to ask him to do that, especially if he's playing left tackle. He hits his mark consistently. I thought he had good upper body strength, solid in his pass sets, solid movement. He wasn't always to kick out wide enough to pick up speed rushers or a blitz from the edge, but I thought he had a lot of upside. I actually like him more than Warren from Pitt.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say
that. I have him above Warren too.
Me too.
Yeah, the thing, you guys got the player nailed. I mean, you got but the thing about it is, like I said, it takes everything in his power.
Yeah.
To keep that guy off that quarterback. I mean, off the edge. I mean, there are times where he is really, like, he's got on a motor scooter. He's having to really hustle to try and to make that take care of that. So they got him absolutely right.
And you say it's called catching?
Catch. Yeah. Sometimes the whole idea, what you want to do, the whole idea of, like, with arm length and stuff like that, is when you punch, is you go for control. So you punch to get them off your body. You don't want them to grab your pad and then be able to yank you or swim you or pull you. So what you do is the punch, that buys you the separation, and then it lets you, as you would say, drop that ass. and then that way you can control them that way.
Okay.
But when you'll get guys that are like belly-to-belly blockers, and they get real tight, and they control that way. But the whole idea is to try and extend, and so they can't grab you to counter your punch.
So you think that his short arms because that's one thing I noticed about him is, like, when he's blocking guys, he's up in here with it, like you were just describing.
Right.
And so do you think that's a result of his arms not being long enough? Like
it could be. It could be. And he could be in a situation too where he feels like he's strong enough that if he just catches, he can control.
That reminds me a lot of Tyler.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Early Tyler.
Early Tyler.
Like
No,
Tyler.
you're not wrong.
When you looked at film on Tyler,
you're not wrong.
And that's how he got penalized.
Right, the holding calls. No, 100%.
Absolutely.
So, but we've seen that with some good coaching.
Yeah. It can work out.
It can improve.
But Steen's a guy that's got upside for sure.
He still has.
He's got room to grow.
He has room to grow. And that's one thing I noticed about him. But yeah.
First line I had on my scouting report is there's still room to grow.
Mm-hmm.
But you have heavy hands, quick feet. And that's
right.
what you want to see from an offensive lineman. He moves his feet well, but he's got the strength for that early punch. He just doesn't always convert it.
Yeah.
Right.
Doesn't always get there. If he can bring consistency, there's room to grow there.
He did a nice job at Alabama.
Third round pick, round 90.
Absolutely.
I think he would be right in that value. That would be another spot for you to potentially look at. All right. Let's take our first break. When we come back, we've got Twitter on the 20. We've got some good questions this week. Everybody's locked in this week. It's draft
the best week of the year, baby.
Let's roll. Twitter on the 20 coming up next on the Draft Show.
Miller Lite is the light beer brewed for people who love the taste of beer. For those who are always the first to volunteer for beer runs, who hit up tailgates for sports that they don't even like, and believe having a beer fridge in the garage is non-negotiable. It's a 96-calorie, 3.2 carb love letter to beer lovers who know that the best part of beer is the beer part. Tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin beer.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Hey Cowboys fans, if you're looking for a full-time or part-time job, check out Liberty Tax, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. If you've got tax experience and want to help your community with their finances, you're the perfect candidate. No tax experience? We also offer in-person tax school courses locally. Liberty Tax has 79 locations across DFW and 2,300 offices nationwide. Learn more about our job opportunities at libertytax.com/hiring or call your local Liberty Tax office today.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
This is the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show.
Back here on the Draft Show presented by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. It's Miller time, and you can head to the Miller Lighthouse at AT&T Stadium for the Dallas Cowboys Tacos and Tunes Festival presented by Miller Lite, Saturday, May 13th. From 2 to 7 p.m., enjoy a variety of tacos and food truck options while you sip on cold drinks and listen to live music. Admission and parking for the Dallas Cowboys Tacos and Tunes Festival are free. Visit attstadium.com/tacos and tunes for more info.
I ain't going to hold you. I was definitely like,
looking
this
at
sounds nice.
Tacos and tunes. Sign me up.
2 to 7. I've got a flight that day. That's the day I leave for my honeymoon. So,
you probably not.
Why don't you roll by the parking lot?
Priorities.
I would love to, but
you should kick off the honeymoon there.
The flight's at 12:30.
Some
I'm
things
not going
are
to
more
be there.
important. Them tacos going to be there.
Yeah, no, I guess the mayor. Happy wife, happy life.
Excited for that. Dang it. All right, whatever. Let's go to some Twitter on the 20.
Twitter on the 20.
All right, this first question comes from Seth.
Nobody gets more amused with that than you. In 11 years, 12 years of doing this, nobody gets more amused than you.
That's my jam.
Dave used to love it, too. Dave would get into it a little bit.
Dave would get into it, yeah.
All right, Seth says, the Cowboys doctors had the surgery done on Syracuse corner Garrett Williams, which is likely a Friday pick, recovering nicely from an ACL that he suffered last season. He's expected to be cleared by July after the procedure was done by Dr. Dan Cooper.
One of the best in the league.
No doubt about that. Do you think that could heighten his chances as a third-round Cowboys target? And would love a breakdown of Garrett Williams himself from the group. We'll start with Brian.
I'll tell you what, though. He's 5'10", he's 192. I love his toughness. I love his willingness to be part of the action. I think he's a physical player. I do think he sees the field well. He's quick to read, react to the play. I mean, he's a hard guy to fool. You know, I was watching, they kept trying to throw at him, and he just wasn't going to bite on anything. he's not going to give you any ground on that. I mean, he does a good job of staying in position and routes. You'll see him come off his man in order to make the play. He's got a nose for the ball. That ACL thing, that was an October 31st, and that he was done at that point. So you definitely need to see how those medicals. The fact that Dr. Cooper did it, Dr. Cooper did Jalen Smith's surgery.
Yeah.
And they took Jalen Smith. Dr. Cooper will be able to tell them, like, hey, no, this kid will be fine, ready to go. The playing ability there, the skills there and stuff, you do worry a little bit about that ACL when you're starting to talk about a cornerback in that particular position.
He's not a corner that I would like to pick.
Wow.
There's a lot of other corners in this draft that I had over him, but Brian's right. I mean, he is physical. He'll throw his body in to try and tackle in the run game. I just worry about his deep speed. I had a note. I think he's going to get beat downfield in the NFL. He gets stacked. He gets boxed out of the play. He gives up bad body positioning. Maybe these are things he can improve. He does have good footwork off the line of scrimmage, and that was something that I liked about him. But in a really deep corner class, there's just so many guys I would rather have before I considered taking Garrett Williams.
Yeah, you talked about the top speed, the ability to turn and run. That's something especially with the ACL type thing, I worry about.
Yeah.
He does have some flexibility. I think he could play nickel also too, but what I worry about more than one thing I liked about him is that he wasn't super penalized. He's not super handsy.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like you. I'm worried about the ACL changing, how he can turn and run.
The redirection.
I'm going to tell y'all something. Like, as somebody that's disabled and I go through hip stability stuff and training, and I've been in therapy for almost 3 years, I did not realize how difficult it was to flip your hips and run like that. Like, these guys' bodies are not – it's not normal.
Right.
It's not normal to those drills you see them doing at the combine and stuff.
It's incredible.
To do it, to physically do it.
They make it look easy.
They make it look easier than what it really is. And it's crazy to me because it made me, like, my recovery made me realize why some corners, as their career goes down, they can't turn and run the same way. It's because that flexibility in your hips just changes, or that push off you get. And so when you talk about an ACL, I worry about how explosive he's going to be because his footwork, like you're saying, is one of the things that I think makes him good, makes him appealing. So I'm worried. I don't like it.
No, I don't
like it.
That's fair, though, because if that's his calling card, if that's his cornerstone to his game, and all of a sudden that's taken out, then you're getting a different prospect. Yeah. You're getting a different guy. So it is a worry.
Yeah.
But going back to what Brian said initially, Dr. Cooper's the best in the business.
He is.
And if they're if they're doing the surgery,
they're going to know the insides and outs.
Absolutely. Maybe they feel like, I mean, they kind of have a record. Like, maybe they see potential in this gentleman.
Sure.
Maybe post-injury or whatever the case may be. So I do have corners ahead of him. But
think about last year, Damone Clark in the combine. There was an injury discovered by the Cowboys team doctors in Indianapolis, and he ends up on the Cowboys roster. It doesn't always happen. They look at 400 prospects a year.
Millions.
But it happens. It happens every once in a while. Just keep an eye on it. Ken Green asks, can we get a tell me more about Jonathan Mingo, the wide receiver from Ole Miss? Like what he saw, but nobody seems to be talking about him, says Ken Green. So we're going to talk about him.
Zach, do you do him?
Yeah, Jonathan Mingo, I've got. Now, he's a thick wide receiver. He's one of the bigger
6'2",
ones.
220.
Yeah, and you don't have a lot. He's got a strong lower body. He can block on the outside in the run game. He finds the opening in zones. He's got really strong hands. I loved watching him catch the ball in traffic. He gets yak. He can break some tackles. Now, doesn't always get separation.
Yeah.
That was one thing about him. I would have liked to see more production out of him, but he's a bigger wide receiver that you can also kick in, play in the slot. But he takes a little bit of time to get to top gear. Needs to just go straight line and just haul ass if you want to hit him deep. But he is an intriguing player, and if you're looking for more of the height and weight measurables that you typically see in a smaller draft class at wide receiver, Mingo is one of those guys that people are going to look at. He is fun. I mean, I did like him.
I'll tell you what, once again, I think you nailed him. I said he has a hard time finding that second gear. I think he's got good time speed, but he doesn't always play that fast.
Yeah.
And so this, but you do see him extend for balls. His size, the length really helps him in that area. He'll make some tough plays look really easy, which I admired that about him. But, I saw the routes inside, the toughness, the concentration. I kind of feel like his best football might be ahead of him.
I can see that.
But the whole thing about it is he's very rare in this draft. He's actually a guy that's over 6 foot at wide receiver, So if you're looking for that type of guy, I can see why people are kind of – and Ole Miss has done a really good job of putting big receivers into the draft
A.J. Brown.
and having some success. I know
DK Metcalf.
Treadwell wasn't one of those guys, but they've had some guys that have played.
Hey, you win some, you lose some, right?
Yeah.
Where'd you guys have him? You have him in the
third round.
Third round. Yeah, third
I have
round.
him early fourth. He's my second, fourth round grade. I have him at 124 overall, which I still like the player a lot. I think if you were to get him in the third, though, I would be down for that. At 90, I'd feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, I've got him at 100.
I got him at 71. Dane's got him at 86. Daniel Jeremiah has him at 52.
Ooh, wow.
Wow.
So that's where you're at there.
Question for you guys, since we're talking about Jonathan Mingo. Any similarities in him and Quentin Johnston's game? What was that?
For me, I think Quentin Johnston gets separation.
I thought you were over there trying to duck. You're asking a question and then you're going to duck.
Oh, she ducks.
I like Johnston's speed and burst a little bit more than I do with Mingo, and I do think he's able to get more consistent separation. But there are some similarities where they're both big-bodied, strong wide receivers that are really good after the catch. They are hard to tackle.
Yeah. And that's kind of one of the knocks to Quentin Johnston's game is he's not that separation type of receiver that some of these other cats are.
Yeah.
But you look at Johnston specifically, he's still better in that category, that realm than a Jonathan Mingo. That's where the difference is.
What was Mingo's 40?
It was 2 seconds. It was a 4.46 and a 1.54 split.
Show some explosiveness.
Yeah,
he didn't always play that fast.
Right,
That's what I was kind of thinking. Yeah,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
could that have risen his stock? The fact that he didn't look that fast on tape.
I don't know, man. I mean, the fact that Daniel Jeremiah's got him at 50. What did I say? 50, whatever it was, 52.
50,
yeah, 52.
That's where I got Mims.
He's probably talking to some folks about what they really. I think that his stock goes up because he's a big receiver.
The same thing with Tillman.
Yeah,
I think that
both those guys.
You will take a shot at a guy that's big over a guy that's. You would rather bust on a big guy than you would bust on a little guy. I know it sounds.
We can clip that.
Yeah, I know it sounds terrible.
But you're right.
There are scouting terms you could use, and people freak out.
Well, I mean, I think that it's a very appropriate term. You can say that any day you want.
All right. So let's move on to our next question.
Work with these people here.
Sorry, Brian.
You got to have some fun sometimes.
Yeah. Sod asked, and
you're shaking your head over there.
Brian quote tweeted this earlier this morning.
Yeah.
But Sod asked, he posts this scenario. It's a scenario where Bijan Robinson is there. Brian Branch is there. Both of the tight ends, Michael Mayer from Notre Dame, Dalton Kincaid from Utah, are there at 26. But ring, ring, guess who's on the phone? It's Howie Roseman and the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, no.
Wanting to trade up from 30. And they know
they're trading
coming
to you.
Get
they're trading to
your
you.
pick.
Yeah.
For Bijan Robinson.
For Bijan?
They're coming up to get Bijan at 26 from 30.
Right off. I'm not doing this.
Well, here's the thing. They give you an overpay in order to try and do it.
Okay, it's a second-round pick that's actually like a top of the third.
It's 62 overall.
It's one of the last picks in the second round.
And they give you next
year's. So you're moving back
fourth.
to 30?
Yeah, you're moving down 4 spots. You're picking
up
Bijan.
a 3 and a 4 for next year.
You're going to get your tight end.
You're picking up a 2 this year and a 4 for next year. A late 2 this year and a 4 next year, wherever that ends up.
I don't know if it's worth having to deal with defending him in that offensive line twice a year.
Here's the thing, Brian, you say...
I don't know if it's worth it. You got to see him twice a year.
Look, I like the idea of picking up these picks, and I think there's a lot of meat.
I think you need to worry about the Giants doing it.
Stop. Don't say that.
At 25?
Yes.
Oh, the Eagles trading with the Giants?
They know you want Bijan Robinson here. Why would they trade? Why would they trade to your spot? They're going to trade ahead of you because they know you're holding either on a tight end, probably an interior offensive lineman, and if Bijan's there, that you would probably take him. So they're not going to trade to you. They're going to trade to the Giants is what they're going to try and do. They know the Giants won't take him, you know?
Yeah, the Giants definitely aren't taking him. It's just.
But Todd Archer and I, we talked about this. Same conversation. Like, why would the Giants want to play against him twice a year?
Yeah, exactly.
No, they wouldn't. But it's very enticing to get. So you're picking up 62.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of players right there.
To get a second round pick this year in this year's
draft.
See,
I like that.
This year's draft
is
so here's players 60 through 65 on my board just for interest. Garrett Williams, corner from Syracuse. We just talked about him. Darnell Washington, tight end from Georgia. J.L. Skinner, safety from Boise State. Devin Achane from Texas A&M. Jordan Battle, Alabama. Cedric Tillman from wide receiver from Tennessee. There are names in the back half of the second round, and you keep your pick at 58 too.
Well, okay. Let me ask you this: maybe you do this trade and you draft that Henley from Washington State, because I'm going to need somebody to tackle Bijan Robinson.
Well, I've got him at 53.
I was about to say, I'll be okay.
You have Henley at 53?
Yeah, it's my 53rd best player.
I got him at 59, so it's right there. If you
take Will McDonald at 30 and roll from there,
and that'd be perfect because I got Will McDonald as my 33rd best player. So I like that value a lot. And I'm kind of iffy on McDonald. You guys know that. But
see, I don't think they would trade to you. I think they would trade ahead of you because they know that you would take this guy. Dallas, I mean, the Philly has to know you would take this guy. The Giants aren't going to take this guy.
Yeah, but at one point, when does it come down to, all right, where do you have Robinson? You're picking at 26. I've got him as the 4th best player in the draft.
3rd.
So, I mean, when is it just like, man, I can't move away from this guy? To get the 3rd or the 4th best player in the entire draft at 26, running back be damned.
Kyle did this. Like I say, Henley at 59 on my board. Sam Laporta at 60.
Ooh, yeah, Laporta.
Clark Phillips from Utah at 61.
I got Ika at 62.
Tyjae Spears at 62. Cedric Tillman at 63. Darius Rush at 64.
Mm-hmm.
Those are
good names.
Those are really good names.
It's a lot of good players.
I got Corey Trice at 68.
All right, so time's running out. We've got 12 seconds. Brian, are you taking the pick or are you hanging up the phone?
I'm hanging up the phone. I'm going to let somebody else be a hero.
Pick it.
I'm going to pick the guy. I'm going to pick him. I'm going to hope like hell he's there, and I'm going to pick him.
I'm going to do the same thing.
He's the 3rd best player on my board.
I'm doing the same thing, and the Cowboy fans that are upset about it, you're not going to be upset when he's running for 100 yards and a couple of touchdowns on Sundays. All right, you're going to be just fine.
Yeah. Hanging up the
phone.
Can
he wear number 5? Who's number 5? Is that our punter?
That's Brian Anger.
I bet Anger would give up 5.
Sorry, Brian.
Pay for it.
Yeah, I'm hanging up the phone. I don't want them having any happiness.
Did the question make you think about it though? Did the players?
Absolutely.
The players at 62 made you even consider that? Right?
Absolutely.
I'm absolutely considering it.
I would love Tyjae Spears there at 62, and I'd be fine.
I would hang up the phone, but I would say thank you for your offer. Maybe next year. Click. And then that's it.
Just be alert. Just be alert if that's a team that the Giants. Watch the Giants. That I would say watch that team.
That just sounds
running back?
No.
Just
to dive
because
to
they
bail,
don't want the running back.
I did their podcast. They're looking at wide receivers. They're looking at corners. That's the kind of stuff they're talking about over there.
Okay, one final question.
It's a great question, by the way.
It is a phenomenal. Like, I feel like my heart's pounding, like we were in the war room having to make that decision. Jacob says, for Brian and for the rest of the group,
please,
how does Michael Mayer, tight end from Notre Dame, compare to Jason Witten coming out of college as a prospect? That's a popular comparison. You scouted Witten.
Yeah.
What do you think about the two, and how do they compare?
I think that when you're talking about both players, and I think the thing with Witten coming out was that I think Witten as a pro developed to even a better blocker, especially earlier in his career. But you start to, Witten was not one of these guys. We've seen him a lot of intermediate, a lot of underneath stuff. There was some stuff that was down the seam, but I think that was a little bit later. I kind of feel like it's the similar skill set, because you do see Mayer with the crossing stuff. You see him. Witten was one of the better red zone, as he was in the NFL, one of the better red zone players. I think Mayer is kind of a good red zone player right now. So to me, that's where you get the blocking. This is where I think, the thing with Mayer is I think he's better as a complete tight end as opposed to the guys you have right now. I think, when Hendershot and Ferguson and all that, you see them run the ball behind Mayer and stuff like that. You see that. So, to me, you're getting a guy that they can put at the point of attack. He can block. He can make receptions in the red zone. He can run the underneath stuff. That's where I think the same thing with Witten was, Witten was not the most, especially late in his career, he wasn't the most flexible guy. But, man, you start talking about reliable hands, getting first downs, getting open, understanding where he needs to fit in the route and stuff like that. That's why I like Michael Mayer. Now, I don't know if they like Michael Mayer more than me. They might, like I say, they might like the Utah guy. There might be a cheer. I'm sure if you watch their war room and Mayer, say, goes to the Commanders or somebody ahead of them, they might go, okay, we got a shot at our guy now. We got a shot at grabbing our Utah guy there. If that's the direction that they want to go.
Witten's numbers were a little bit better. I think people forget because you kind of have the recency bias of, all right, Witten was kind of a catch, go down. Witten had some wiggle to his game.
Yes, he did.
When he first came into the league.
Right, yeah.
No question. Witten was definitely a faster, more downfield player in the early portion of his career than he was late. Mayer's got some of that. The issue with Mayer, and this is why I think Bobby knocks him a little bit, like Dalton Kincaid and Luke Musgrave, it looks smoother.
Yeah.
It looks more fluid.
Oh, yeah.
It definitely does.
They're more athletic players. This is why, and like Mayer's got the nickname Baby Gronk. I brought it up. This is why I comp him to Gronk a little bit. Gronk was a lumbering, sloppy-looking player in the open field. It didn't look pretty. He's ping-ponging and bouncing off of defenders. He's tough to bring down. But what did he do? He caught everything.
Yeah.
He always is open. He's a big body. He's a pain in the butt to deal with in the run game, right? He's great in the red zone. He led the league in touchdowns. How many times? Setting records for tight ends. Mayer's a similar type of player. I'm not saying he's going to be Gronk, but they've got comparisons in their games. And Mayer, they lived through that Notre Dame offense at times through him.
Yeah.
They're dropping back. They got only eyes for Michael Mayer. Late in games, they're trying to make plays. Post routes, Mayer's going downfield. He's catching 30 to 40-yard plays down the field. Don't tell me he's just a turnaround catch, stop, you hit him.
No.
That's not the play that Mayer is. Yeah. He can be a seam threat for you.
Yeah, my question for you guys is, if you're making the comparison of Jason Witten and Michael Mayer right now in today's NFL, how does Michael Mayer, do you see him being as successful as Jason Witten was in his career? Because now linebackers can run and cover.
Yeah.
Now you got guys, now you have safeties that can cover tight ends in the nickel. I think that the NFL has adjusted to a lot of these.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, that type of tight end that is going to bounce off of you and stuff like that. You're looking for guys with a little bit more wiggle. So I wonder, that's my thing for him is, how much do you feel like he's going to be that type of player in this generation?
Maybe Michael Mayer would have been just as fine in 2003. Playing in that era than he is playing in today's era.
And I think he's going to have success. I think he's going to have success. That's my thing about him is there are people that can defenses have adjusted to cover guys like that now. And that's the thing that makes me wonder about him.
That's what happens when a Gronk changes the game.
Right.
Tracking.
You find a way to stop the Gronks of the world. You find a way to stop the Wittens of the world. Now you got to find a way to stop the Travis Kelce's and the George Kittles.
And that's why you see the nickel being so dominant, like such a dominant way that defenses are coming out. Because like we saw in the playoffs, if you have a tight end that can get it done, it changes the whole scope of your offense. So go ahead, Brian.
No, the thing about it is Witten on our board in 2003 had a 119, and that was the last. He was player 19 on the board, is what he was. The problem was he was in a draft where they had Dallas Clark and L.J. Smith and some others. More Mike Seidman was some guys that all went ahead of Witten at that time. It was a pretty deep wide receiver draft, and he got to the third round. You're kind of sitting there thinking, wow, how does that happen? But I know on our board he was the last player we had in the first round. And I think on people's boards, this guy is probably in that same vein, whether you have him at 15 or 19 or whatever. I kind of feel like he's the last guy. But you're right. He doesn't look as smooth. He just doesn't. But you throw him the ball, he catches everything.
He
gets up, he makes plays. Yeah. So if he's not passing your eye test because he doesn't look like the guy at Kansas City or the guys at Philly or any of these other teams that have really outstanding tight ends, I think you're kind of missing it on that.
Yeah, he's one of the tight end position last year was one of the first positions that I actually took the time to actually study, start to understand. And there's angles in that position and the way you shift your body into slip tackles, and to get upfield and work the seams. And one thing about him is that he has that already.
He does. Yeah.
Guys have to develop that at the tight end position.
And that's what made Witten so good.
Yes, it takes time to get a feel for those splits and those hashes and when to turn your body, when to break that tackle, because that DB is coming that flying that you're trying to make a tackle. Yeah, I feel like he has a natural feel for the position that a lot of the other guys don't have, that make him a little bit more pro-ready. Right. So he's one of the safest picks, in my opinion, in this draft.
I don't disagree with that.
When I say safe, I mean he's ready. Yeah. Right. And you can't knock that from him.
Yeah, I don't think he's a bust. Is he necessarily going to be that elite top 5 tight end that you're drafting and hoping he is? Maybe not. But I don't think there's any question that he's going to be a good player.
Yeah, I don't think there's a whole bunch of upside, in my opinion. Yeah. I don't know I think that he can improve a little bit more, but I think that with some of the basic tight end stuff, he's already ahead. I feel like what you get from him in the next couple of years might be what you get from him in the next. That's what
he might be at his ceiling right now. Then
might be. That's the risk you got to take. When we come back, we're going to take a look at Dane's 7-round mock draft. Most recent Dane Brugler 7-round mock draft on The Athletic. He took a tight end in the first round. Did he take Michael Mayer? Did he take Dalton Kincaid? Maybe he took one of those other tight ends that we haven't been talking about. We'll tell you who he took, and we'll kind of talk about the scenarios that could be at hand when we come back with more of the Draft Show.
Miller Lite is the light beer brewed for people who love the taste of beer. For those who are always the first to volunteer for beer runs, who hit up tailgates for sports that they don't even like, and believe having a beer fridge in the garage is non-negotiable. It's a 96-calorie, 3.2 carb love letter to beer lovers who know that the best part of beer is the beer part. Tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin beer.
Hi, I'm Danny McCray, Dallas Cowboys alumni player here with Smoothie King. And Smoothie King wants to ask you, what's that sound? That's the sound of you and everyone else absolutely loving new smoothie bowls from Smoothie King. And woo, me too. These smoothie bowls start with acai and pitaya and are handcrafted with fresh toppings like sliced bananas, sweet berries, crunchy Purely Elizabeth granola, and a savory peanut butter drizzle. New smoothie bowls, only at Smoothie King, the official smoothie of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey Cowboys fans, if you're looking for a full-time or part-time job, check out Liberty Tax, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. If you've got tax experience and want to help your community with their finances, you're the perfect candidate. No tax experience? We also offer in-person tax school courses locally. Liberty Tax has 79 locations across DFW and 2,300 offices nationwide. Learn more about our job opportunities at libertytax.com/hiring or call your local Liberty Tax office today.
I'm Darren Woodson, former Dallas Cowboy player and Super Bowl champion. When I played in the NFL at a high level, I relied on my vision to see the field. As I started getting older, I noticed my vision wasn't as good, and I was getting frustrated from wearing my glasses all day. I went to Laser Care Eye Center, and Dr. G talked about all the options. Thanks to technology and Laser Care Eye Center, I can see near, far, and between. Don't fumble your vision any longer. Visit them at dfweyes.com and tell them Darren sent you. They got me back on my game.
This is the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show.
Back here on the Draft Show, presented by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. It's Miller time. Of course, this group will be live for every pick of the draft. Starting on Thursday, we'll have Sean Sharif in here out of the 105.3 The Fan crew. He'll host things and then
good luck with him.
Get us through. We love Sean.
I love Sean too.
He's become a part-time member of
he
the
does an
Draft Show.
Excellent job night one.
Yes, he does.
He really does.
He's the guy that he's like he'll ask the questions he thinks the fans want to hear.
Yeah.
He's very inquisitive about, is that the right word about that?
Yeah, he's inquisitive.
About why would you take that guy? Or why would they take this guy? He's one of those guys. So
I love it.
He's going to put you on the spot. You should just be ready.
Why?
Because that's what he likes to do.
I gave him a scouting report about you. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
No, you're going to crush
Brian.
it.
I gave him a scouting report.
Wait, what's the scouting report? Where would you have her? First round grade, second round?
You might pull a Mike Dick and trade up your whole draft. Just trade the whole draft for it.
I am to please.
Okay,
that's our girl.
Let's get through Dane's 7-round mock draft and what he took for the Cowboys.
5 minutes there?
Yeah, we're going to try. We're going to figure it out.
Hurry.
All right, so 26, he had players like Drew Sanders available, Adetomiwa Adebare from Northwestern available, Mozzie Smith, Brian Branch, Keon White, but he went with Michael Mayer, tight end from Notre Dame. We just talked about Michael Mayer. Pretty good pick overall at 26. If that ends up being the selection.
Of the guys you named, I'd have Mayer over all those guys.
I would too.
I have Murphy as the best of that.
Oh, did he have Murphy available there?
Did you say Murphy?
Did I say Murphy?
I thought you said Murphy. I thought he was the first guy. Is he not?
No, it was not. Drew Sanders was the first guy.
Maybe I just really wanted him to be there.
Yeah, maybe.
Because he is sliding.
He is sliding a little bit.
I don't get it with Murphy. I got him as the 14th best player.
I would take him if he was there.
Miles Murphy went 12 to the Houston Texans.
You're right. I got Kincaid as the best.
Kincaid is gone too.
Dang it.
Yeah.
What are you looking at? Because I'm looking at something different to you.
How's your board?
This one was he had two of them.
Mayer would be the best of the guys you mentioned.
One was in March.
I got him
and
at
one
22.
was in April. He posted 2 different 7-round.
You got a lot of versatility.
I think you're looking at March.
Yeah.
I bet you would have a lot of versatility in your tight end room.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think.
I'm just kidding. You're looking at the right one. I'm looking at Machota's.
What?
All right, there you go.
This is my fault.
Get ready, Aisha. There's a lot of chaos that happens for 3 days.
I apologize. This is on me.
If
Mayer is the pick, Kyle.
You're wasting time.
Zach's the scouting report we're trading out. All right. Cowboys 58. Cedric Tillman's there. Okay. Zach Charbonnet is there. Julius Brents is there, corner from Kansas State.
Yeah.
Tyreek Stevenson, corner from Miami. Tyler Scott, and he took Deion Henley, linebacker from Washington State.
I think I would have taken Henley too. I think Henley is the highest rated player amongst those for me.
Yeah.
It'd be tight between him and Charbonnet because I really do like Zach Charbonnet from UCLA. I would probably, knowing that you went tight end in the first round, I would probably go Henley in the second round.
It would be tight for me because of between Cedric Tillman and him.
Okay,
I see that. See, Charbonnet is very close with Henley, and I love Charbonnet. I think he's closer to Gibbs, in my opinion, than Gibbs is closer to Robinson.
I am not super high.
I'm very high on Charbonnet. I think he could be the Kenneth Walker of this draft that comes in.
Where do you have him?
I've actually got him at 45.
Who, Charbonnet?
Yeah.
I have him at 43, so I'm right there with you.
So I do have him slightly ahead of Henley, but I think the drop-off at linebacker to me is way more steep than running back, which is why I'd go Henley.
That's fair.
Man.
And, I mean, the things he can do in coverage, yo.
Yeah.
The things that Deion Henley can do in coverage, and he's just like a bat out of hell when he's in the run game.
Brian hates Charbonnet.
No, Charbonnet 56. Henley at 59, and then you mentioned Tillman at 63.
Wow,
that would be right there for me.
It's close. Yeah,
you'd have a tough time with those. I got Tillman down at 97.
Yeah, I've got Tillman a little. I'm not that far down.
I will say this though. I went back and watched Tillman's 2021 tape. It is better than this. I think
Stop being a scout.
He was dealing with. You can tell, like the injury bug was kind of.
It bothered you, didn't it? You had to go look at 21.
No, it bothered me because I didn't see it. Like I didn't see it. People are gushing about. I'm like, dude, this guy looks slow. He's laboring out there, but he does look more explosive in 2021.
I had Tillman at 65. I think I said that earlier when we were going through it. So yeah, the value there at 58 is there, but I would take Deion Henley just like Dane did. All right. Into the third round at 90, the Cowboys picking. Luke Shoemaker from Michigan is there. Tyler Steen, we talked about him in a tackle guard flex possibly out of Alabama. Jaden Reed, wide receiver from Michigan State. Israel Abanikanda, running back from Pitt. Jalen Duncan, offensive tackle from Maryland. Also Rashee Rice from SMU. And Carter Warren.
We'll eliminate Shoemaker because we've already taken a tight end, right?
Yep, you can take him out. He took Anthony Bradford, offensive guard out of
That's
LSU.
what I'm talking about, Dane.
I'm for it. I love the pick. I love
pick 89.
You don't get a guard early. Anthony Bradford's my guy. I'm not going to fight you. Although out of those, Rashee Rice was my best player.
Okay. Do you like the pick with Anthony Bradford, Aisha? Taking deep breaths over there.
I'm torn between he and Tyler Steen.
Okay.
I'm very torn between those two.
You're not wrong. They're all in the same boat.
I really like Jalen Duncan, too.
Duncan,
you're not excited about
Bradford? I have higher than Bradford, so I don't disagree, but I think Bradford is a plug-and-play guard.
I tell you what, Bradford at 89 for me, Steen at 92. It's really throw a blanket over him. I mean, I understand.
You guys have Steen ahead of Duncan?
Yes.
Yes.
Because I need to see a little bit more from Jalen.
Okay.
Oh, no, I have Duncan at 77. I have Steen at 89.
Yeah, I got
good picks for 90.
I am behind him, yeah.
I got him right behind him. But that for me with Jalen Duncan, it's just because I think I just need to see a little bit more from him.
Okay. We might only get one more. 129, fourth round. Wanye Morris from Oklahoma is there, offensive tackle.
Pass.
Zach Kuntz from Old Dominion.
We got a tight end already.
Yep. Zach Evans, running back from Ole Miss, who's a 30 visit. Luke Weipler, center from Ohio State. DeMarvion Overshone, linebacker from Texas. Dylan Horton, linebacker from TCU. Those are the final picks of the fourth round. And Dane elected to go with Tyler Lacey, Oklahoma State interior defensive lineman. He's been rumored to be...
Jeez, I've got that guy in the 6th round.
Man, that's rich for me.
That's way too high
That's
for me.
rich.
Okay.
That's rich for me.
Yeah, Weipler.
Tell me about him. What do you think about him?
More interesting.
Well, I have to pull him up here real quick.
man.
Go ahead. You got him, Zach? You got him real quick?
Yeah, I'll grab him. Don't worry. Filibuster for me. I got him.
He's kind of he's really an edge is what he is.
Yes.
And
I have a fifth round grade on him.
So he's a local guy from Saxe. He has good size for the position, long arms, which he uses to his advantage to fight off blocks. He can shed and crash down the line to make plays first the run. He's got a good feel for where the ball is, good swim move, gets most of his pressure when he kicks inside, though. So I think he could be a defensive tackle at the next level, kind of what the Cowboys did with Chauncey Golston. He does get tired and worn down, though. You watch him against K-State, they start to push him around a little bit. Not super explosive, and he plays with high pad levels sometimes.
You're absolutely right. I don't see a guy that has a lot in the tool belt when it comes to being a pass rusher. I think he kind of rushes and tries to figure it out along the way. So he's going to have to be taught up for that. Power, effort, all that stuff's really good. He'll chase the ball, active when he can. He'll finish. I thought he was a pretty good tackler in open space, but I kind of feel like there's a lot that you have to teach him in order for him to be successful.
Yeah,
I think that's exactly where I'm at. I say technicalities to his game have kept him under the radar, but appear to be fixable in the right system. He's athletic enough to think about moving outside to play maybe as a 5 technique, but he fits better inside. Ideal size and versatility for defensive tackle, but he's just very technically inconsistent.
And read the other names just to read the names.
For the draft. Okay. 169 in the 5th round. Jake Moody, kicker from Michigan.
Like it.
Went and got your kicker. At 212 in the 6th round, you go get your quarterback. Houston's Clayton Tune.
Like it.
There you go.
At 212, I would love that pick. I'm very high on Clayton
grimacing
Tune.
right now.
I'm not grimacing. I was just making a face.
Can we get Tank Dell with him?
Yeah, that would be nice.
Like a grimace.
I'm higher on Tank Dell than what I think y'all are.
I'm a big fan of Dell.
Would agree with that. That's their final pick, right? They don't have another one after that. At least I can't find it. Oh, no, they did. Darrell Johnson, edge from Liberty, is the 7th round pick at 244.
That'd be a great pick in the 7th round.
Yes, it is.
Hunting some trades.
You might be stealing somebody right there.
Hunting some trades. How about that? All right, that does it for the draft show. Good news. We're back tomorrow.
There we go.
We've got more shows throughout the week. Every day this week, we've got the draft show. We're just getting started. We'll have Bobby back tomorrow, too, so we'll be at full strength starting at 11 a.m. Central
dropping that
time.
ass, Aisha.
Very nice. For Chris Beam, for Brian Barada, Zach Wolchuk, Aisha Morris, and I'm Kyle Yeoman saying so long. We'll see you tomorrow on the draft show.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?